And you know, cancers can be very moody. One time me and BFF was on the phone together. I don't know why this bitch was just being so nasty. I'm like, damn bitch, we just got on the phone. What the hell you being so nasty for? You want me to call you back? She was like, no. Give me a minute. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook and or Twitter, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today we have another combo, guys. Today's combo promo would be a Renee scarf, these super fly shades, and the Michelle red lip. You can get all of them for $50. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before Lou. The YouTube gets it if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about the Law Supreme, the life of a dream girl, Florence Ballard. As Gordy's attraction to and admiration of Flo waned, his criticism of her began. He would say, Flo, you don't know how to be a star, she said. And maybe I didn't, because as far as I was concerned, I was a person, and I had to be a person. I couldn't be anything else. It's frightening to go all the way to the top and somebody says to you that you have to be a star, that you can't mingle with certain people. People to me has always meant people, and I've always felt that if I don't have people, then I don't have anything, and I still feel this way. I was supposed to carry myself like a star. I knew I was a big entertainer. I knew I was rich. I knew I was making lots of money. I knew this. I had beautiful clothes, diamonds, everything at my feet. But to me, a star is something in the sky. And to me, I was a human being. I do give Flo the ninja a lot because I feel like she is or was way too emotional to be with a company like Motown. Just emotional people, I believe, have hard times assimilating. Sometimes people that work off their emotions can be volatile. Hey, baby, if you broken, a cancer will fix you. They will allow you to be you, no matter what status they are, no matter how much money they have, no matter how many things going wrong in their life. They will allow you to wallow in your depression or your defeat and not judge you. Just allow you to be you. And I love that about them. Barry was talking about mingling. I would always talk to people instead of rushing and jumping into the car. Fans and this and that. I would always stop and talk, and I just couldn't break the habit. Mary was very good at it, but me, I would linger. And y'all know that pissed Diana Ross Balls off. Diana Ross Balls, she trying to be a star. She trying to shine bright like a diamond. And here you got somebody that's working closely with her. They are part of the same group. And Flo is down there mingling with the people. Answer no. If I didn't say it already, Gordy had a big problem with Flo messing with Tommy Chapman. He ain't good enough, Flo. Not for my Supremes. Cancers aren't like that. Them niggas believe in love. Real talk. Forever. My best friend be like, Nay, you don't want to die alone. You don't want to sleep by yourself at night. You want to have somebody that you can look forward to spending the rest of forever with. I'm like, I'm good. I'll be just fine if I die alone. But that's not them. Flo was always her own person. Her friend Pat Cosby said, Flo never got lost in the fame as far as her personality, as far as being herself. You have to be a strong individual not to get yourself lost in that. 100. Flo was not only strong, but also ahead of her time. She tried writing songs for the Supremes. Answer no? No, because Berry Gordy kept the money limited to who he wanted to give the money to. Only Motown writers can write the songs, and I'm only going to pay them. You can't write your own songs because that means that I will have to split the monies with you. I don't like you like that. I don't want to split no money with you, Flo. Now, I do it with Holland Dozier Holland until they leave my ass, but not you, Flo. Yeah, I tried. I sure did. And Berry Gordy said, that ain't nothing. The other girls thought it was pretty good, but I don't know. For some reason, me and Barry didn't click. Y'all didn't click because you didn't allow him to crawl on top of you, Flo. That's why y'all didn't click. When he made advances towards you, you rejected him. And the last thing you can do to a man with an ego like Berry the Gordys is reject him. Shut up, Lou. A few years later, the majority of the top-selling hits would be written by the artists performing them. The singer-songwriter became an icon. Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder began trying to convince Motown to allow them to write and produce their own songs. Motown refused. I'm only sharing the money with the people who I want to share the money with. Leading to major strains between the company and its creative artists. Otis Williams wrote that when the Temptations formally asked Gordy for the publishing rights to songs they wrote, Gordy replied, "What are you going to do with publishing? Berry, bed, bug, bites, gas, lights." In spite of, or perhaps because of, Flo's attempts to relate to the fans and to increase her contributions to the Supremes, Diane's ambitions grew, and according to Flo, her treatment of her girlhood friends became atrocious, pointing out that Diane always tried to hog the show. And Diane is very ambitious, Florence recalled. And it got to the point, I'll never forget one time while we were performing in Boston, Diane's mic went out. So without any warning at all, she walked over and snatched Mary's microphone out of her hand. Mary snatched it back. Good for you, Mary. You should have snatched it back and bonked that bitch on the head. Here they are, snatching this microphone back and forth. And I'm standing there still singing and looking at them. You know what should have happened was Diane should have said, "Excuse me, my mic is out," and just started singing on the same mic with Mary. It could have been done like that, but she walked over and actually snatched that mic. It's funny, but it was ridiculous too. Flo, by contrast, came to Diane's aid during another Boston performance in April 1966. If y'all haven't watched my playlist, Call Her Miss Ross, it is very eye-opening about the boss. Flo was explaining that time where they were singing a song and then just all of a sudden, Diana Ross is like, "I feel small. I feel so very small." Diana was having a panic attack on stage. When the girls noticed it, they took her off stage. Flo picked up the phone and said, "Berry, you need to come down here. Your girl just had a panic attack. We think something's wrong with her." That's when I called Berry Gordy and told him that Diane couldn't perform. She was ill. I had her head in my lap and I was trying to massage her head, and she was just moving her head from side to side and crying. And she said the pain in her head was so ... Berry Gordy flew in and we went back to Detroit, and she went into the Ford Hospital in Detroit. Now dig this, okay? Gordy ain't just fly in just because Florence called and was like, "Listen, Diane round here tripping. You need to come get this girl. You work her to frigging death. That's why she having this panic attack on stage. We ain't no fucking machines. Get your ass down here." Berry Gordy was reluctant. You sure she can't go back on stage? No, nigga. The Supremes went overseas to perform. She caught pneumonia. She was so sick that her throat was messed up. Okay, now these are during the years that Diane is frustrated with Flo, because from Flo's perspective, she doesn't really give much explanation to her defiant behavior in this. Other books we read have. Like I said, Flo's pretty much oblivious to a lot of what's going on. And you know, cancers can be very moody. One time me and BFF was on the phone together. I don't know why this bitch was just being so nasty. I'm like, damn bitch, we just got on the phone. What the hell you being so nasty for? You want me to call you back? She was like, no. Give me a minute. Getting back to Flo. Flo's throat was hurting. Okay, Diana was like, you know you ain't sick. You know you just don't want to do this. Occasionally, Diana broke the pattern by supporting Flo against Gordy. We were going to take some pictures in front of one of the Detroit high schools, and Diane and Murray and I were trying to decide which high school to use, whether Cass Northeastern or Northwestern. And I said it really didn't make me any difference. So Barry said something I'll never forget. He said, I can see why it doesn't make any difference to you, Flo, since you never finished high school. So Diane looked at him and said, well, you didn't finish high school either, Barry. It was the one time she stood up for me. In general, though, Diane attacked Flo, and Flo responded. I didn't take no stuff off of Diana, Flo said. If she said something to me, I'll say it back to her. Pat Cosby noted that Florence was always very honest. She didn't hold back her thoughts. No one who knew Flo would disagree. But that doesn't mean some people didn't advise her to act differently. Mary had her emotion much more locked down, Flo said. I'll never forget when Diana walked into the dressing room in Las Vegas and found them false eyelashes on the floor. She picked them up and said, these couldn't be nobody else's eyelashes but Mary's because they're very dirty. Mary didn't say anything back to her. If it had been me, I would have let her have it. But Mary just held it in. And I didn't think it was fair that I should hold it in, or Mary should hold it in, because Diane wasn't no queen, not to me, and she still isn't. Meanwhile, rumors were circulating feverishly that Diane would be leaving the group to perform on her own. Mary, in a tribute to Florence's voice and performing ability, claimed, I still retain the smaller hope that when and if Diane left, Flo would be made the lead singer. Yes, because that's what Mary said in her book. Diane remained the queen to Gordy, however, and Flo sank further and further in his estimation. It seems like I was always under pressure from Barry, she said. Flo's increasingly precarious position in the Supremes became vividly clear to her in May 1967 when she recalled we got to the Copacabana and Cindy Birdsong was there. Pause. One of you people in the comment had said that there was a lot of information that Barry held from Flo. This is one of the examples. Now, from Flo's interpretation, she is oblivious about what happened. All she knows is that they had the performance at the Copacabana. I talked about this early on. The Supremes are to ride to the performance together. Flo was not allowed to ride in the limousine. Cindy Birdsong was. Flo said Gordy is being very disrespectful. What he was trying to do is say, bitch, we can replace you easily. This Cindy Birdsong, even though Flo didn't state this in her book, was chosen specifically by Diane and me from, what's the group name? The Bluebells, or is it Patti LaBelle and the LaBelle or something like that? Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells. Okay. We chose her specifically because she can fit your clothes and she looked like you. And it would be easy for her to go on stage and nobody know the difference. Okay? Flo has no clue about what's going on right now. They have been grooming her, that would be Cindy Birdsong. They had been grooming her with tapes for a whole year, and I didn't have any knowledge of it. They had a whole tape of the show we were doing, the night act. So she was learning the tunes and everything with the tape. Having Cindy at the Copa caused me to feel more pressure because it was as if they were saying, we're getting ready to push you out. I was thinking, I may be out, I may be in, but I was trying to keep calm about it and not worry about it, about what they were saying, but I was wondering, am I in or out? I lay down in the dressing room in Las Vegas and looked up at the ceiling and I said, God, what's happening? I was scared, unhappy. It was a whole bunch of mixed up feelings. When the limousine pulled up in front of the hotel to take the women to the Copacabana, instead of me getting in the limousine, Cindy Birdsong was asked to get in the limousine. Flo remembered. So I rode to the Copa in a Lincoln that Tommy Chapman was driving. Cindy was there mainly to study me, to study my performance. We finished the engagement at the Copa, and I don't know which way Cindy Birdsong went after that. This is one of the situations where Flo didn't know that the dude who owned the Copacabana did not want Cindy Birdsong. No, bitch, we don't know you. We don't like you. So the way that it was presented to Flo, according to this book, was, okay, Lulu. So the way it seems to Flo in this book is that Cindy was just there to study her. When in reality, Cindy, get your ass on stage at the Copacabana. Until the owner said, no Flo, no Supremes. So Gordy, because the plan didn't work, go back to Flo and say, well, yeah, Cindy's just there to study you. No, Cindy wasn't there to study you. She was there to replace you. The owner was like, fuck no. No Flo, no show. Child, Lou is snoring. I'm so sorry. As if parading Flo's replacement in front of her and giving that replacement Flo's seat in the limousine didn't send Flo the message Gordy wanted her to hear. He had also been thickening the steady stream of criticism he directed to her. Barry knew how to get to me because he always said he wanted to control me. And if he couldn't control me, he didn't want me around. Flo said, yep, that's what them ninjas do. The contrast between Flo and Diane was unmistakable. As Flo put it, boy, was I stacked. Gordy, not really into this sort of statuesque beauty, considered Flo fat bullshit. Bullshit the baker. He loved thick Flo because he saw Flo as a moneymaker first. That's why he wanted to use her in the movies. He wanted some Flo. He knew that voluptuous type could be a money grabber also. Put it this way, if Flo would have acquiesced to Barry Gordy, that weight wouldn't have mattered. Not at all. Because she was a beautiful, and for the time, light skin is the right skin, thick girl. He used to have a line whereas he'd tell me, Florence, for you to be a fat girl, you don't swear that much, whatever that meant. Sometimes he'd just come out and tell me, Florence, you're too fat. Well, I was a size 12, and I guess next to Diane, maybe I was fat. But as far as I was concerned, I was pretty damned stacked. Y'all, I'm a size 12, okay? I'm coming down. I'm trying to come down to a 10. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty damn stacked. The doctors say I'm obese. That's what the doctors say. Okay? But according to African American standards and my wife's standards, I'm just fine. I told her that I wanted to get a butt reduction the other day. She was like, what? Are you crazy? I just had a nice body. You know, size 12, 5'7". That's me. That's a perfect size. I'm a 14 now in 1975, and that's not a bad size, not for my height and my bone structure. I wasn't meant to be skinny. Well, I was meant to be skinny. I was, because I used to be a size 0. The issue of Flo's weight and the varying reaction it engendered had already appeared in joke form in the Supreme's stage patter. Under the thin vents of humor, the women played out their very real personal conflicts in front of audiences that dimly understood what was happening. Soon, however, Gordy began teasing Flo about something other than her weight. He'd say, "Florence, you drink too much." According to Flo, her initial reaction was, in other words, I guess I was supposed to say I was an alcoholic from drinking 2 or 3 beers a day.